If you live on the West Coast, you can make up to 6 figures a year. I have made as much as, to be honest, like $70 an hour. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Aggie, aka Nurse Ags. As you can see from the title of the video, I'm gonna be spilling some tea on how much labor and delivery nurses really make. So if you don't know, I have been working as a labor and delivery nurse for over 3 years now, and I live in the state of Georgia. Now, across the board, the amount of money you make is dictated by which state you live in. The West Coast is notoriously known for making more than the East Coast. The South makes less than up north. So just keep that in mind. Now, I do have, I think, a pretty accurate source that says, it's actually from registerednursing.org. And they say that the average salary of the L&D nurse is $55,426 with a range of $46,000 to $87,000. And I would say this is pretty accurate from my experience. I noticed that whenever I was offered an opportunity in North Carolina, I was making a little bit less than whenever I came to a major city here in Georgia. Another important thing to know is that we get paid hourly. So we don't get paid one amount every year. Depending on how many hours you put in, that's how much money you make. If you wanna make even more money than what you would make on average, then you would need to pick up a lot of overtime. That means you would have to work a lot of extra days. So you might be thinking, oh, like I can make a lot more just by working extra hours. Like I'll just work 4 days a week instead of 3 days a week, which sounds pretty simple if you just say it like that. But the fact of the matter is, not a lot of nurses choose to work overtime because you're exhausted, and when you're off work, you actually want to be off work and relax. So not unless, well, let me say from my experience, a lot of my coworkers that tend to pick up overtime, they either have children that, you know, that they've got to pay stuff for. I don't know that struggle because I have no kids, or they're saving up for something major like a vacation or a wedding. But I don't see every nurse picking up overtime, at least not at my hospital, because we are work like dogs, okay? So yes, depending on how many hours you work, that is how much you'll get compensated. Full-time is 3 days a week, part-time is 2 days a week, 12-hour shifts. Like I said, from my experience, I would say that's pretty accurate as far as the average amount you make after taxes. That's something to definitely think about, because taxes are a real thing. They take about 25% of my gross income. So say, for example, a paycheck, I'm supposed to be making $3,000. I end up taking home, man, what's the math of that? 3,000. Hold on one second. So for example, if I have a paycheck, we get paid every other week, so that's twice a month. Say on my paycheck, I'm supposed to be making $3,000. Well, after taxes, and if you have to pay health insurance, you have to subtract that also. But let's just consider taxes. After taxes, if you get 25% taken out, you're actually going home with a little bit over $2,000 versus a whole $3,000. So that is quite significant, and it's something to keep in mind. But expect to make on average, like hourly, anywhere between, I would say, $20, $22 to, if you live on the West Coast, up to $45, $50 an hour. And another thing is, whenever you do pick up overtime, you get paid what we call time and a half. So that means you get paid your base pay plus half of that per hour. So if you say, for example, you get paid $20 an hour, if you pick up overtime, you'll get paid $30, because half of 20 is 10, and then you add that to your base pay, which is 20, it's 30 an hour. So I have made as much as, to be honest, like $70 an hour working overtime, but it wasn't just time and a half, they actually add more money on top of that. So yeah, you can make quite a bit if you work overtime, especially if they're desperate, they'll offer you even more money. But I hope that helps. That's basically the gist of how much labor and delivery nurses make. One other thing I failed to mention is that the more years you work as an L&D nurse, you get an annual raise. So if you work, a new graduate nurse is going to make a lot less than a nurse that's been working for 10 years, 20 years, etc. So the amount of money I made when I first started working is less than what I make now that I'm 3 years in, because I get that yearly raise, and then actually throughout the year we sometimes get an additional raise, and that really depends on the hospital you work out. If you're a travel nurse, you make even more because they offer better deals. But I would say on average, expect to be earning anywhere from like $45,000 a year to, if you live on the West Coast, you can make up to 6 figures. So yeah, I hope this helps you guys. If it does, please give the video a thumbs up, comment down below, and share your experience with me. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.